Here are a few key features that SmartSuite has over Airtable, since SmartSuite thinks of itself as a work management platform and not just a no-code database. And so it becomes very easy to manage data as well as processes, tasks, projects, etc. So one of the key features is going to be the My Work section, which rolls up anything that SmartSuite recognizes as a task. For any particular user, it just rolls up all their tasks from across the entire platform into one place where they can see everything that's overdue, due today, upcoming later, or no due date, the closed assignments, the open assignments. They can work out of here, set priorities, change statuses, due dates, see what solution it's in, and then just click in and start working on that particular record, commenting, obviously tagging, etc. So this My Work section will really centralize tasks from across the entire platform, as long as a record has a status, a due date, and an assignee field. And the assignee field has to be connected. When you set up the assignee field, you have to connect it. You have to want to say display in My Work, right, which will display it up here in My Work for the user. And you have to connect it to a status if there's more than one status field in this app. And so this way, SmartSuite is able to set apart and say, well, not everything is a task, meaning not everything should be rolled up into the user's My Workspace and clog that up. But at the same time, not everything is just data. And then I have to kind of go find my different records across different solutions and apps, as we call them in SmartSuite. So you get to choose when you set up an assignee field, is this something that you want the user to kind of see in their My Workspace and be able to work on it as like their daily agenda, daily tasks, etc., or is this just a piece of data that you don't want to roll into the My Workspace? Obviously, power search is very, very important. So you can search across the entire platform. You can search in particular solutions, or you can just search across all solutions. You can specify your search records, files, members, pull up recently accessed solutions, tasks, or apps, or just search across the entire platform. SmartSuite also has over 40 different types of custom fields when you set up a custom field in SmartSuite. And so that becomes very powerful, especially with data validation. For example, you can set up full name and decide if you want middle name and title. You have a lot of control over, well, first of all, you can have help text on each custom field, and then you can also require each particular custom field. Many of the custom fields allow you additional control, so you can decide what this is going to look like, and you can set default values. So for example, over here on my single select, I can say the default value is going to be design unless it's changed. And so that's a really nice feature. The other thing is that due dates are always correlated with a status, right? So that way, basically due dates are linked with a status, so things make a little more sense when you're setting a due date, and so that you can know that the record was accomplished or completed, and it kind of marks off the due date. And so that's another thing. We obviously have time tracking, and we have time estimating as custom fields. And since the data is validated like across the different field types, for example, phone number becomes clickable. And if you have VoIP installed on your browser, you can just click the phone number, since we actually validate and format the different field types. The other powerful feature that we have over here is sub-items and checklists. And so you can have sub-items, and sub-items can have their own custom fields and custom statuses, just like the record itself, and they're nested under the main record. You have just sub-records, basically, sub-items, and you can set up your own custom fields for that particular sub-item. We also have a field called checklists, which is basically a checklist within the record, and checklists will only allow you to have a assignee and a due date. Again, you can see you can set defaults, and you have the options where users can create new entries, or you set the checklists ahead of time. Users can modify, delete entries, require an entry to this field. When you look within a record view, obviously, as you can tell, the UI is just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Here we have some checklists we can check off. We can assign due dates, assign to, etc. But You have control, first of all, in terms of setting up sections. And so, for example, over here, I can set up a section and say, well, put this in its own section and call it docs. Now I can expand and collapse this section, and I can pull things out. So let's say subtasks don't really belong in that section. I can pull it out. I can create a separate section for subtasks, right? I can just come in here and add another section. The other nice thing is you have control on how the record is displayed. So you have page settings on each record, and I can have a record over here that's basically one column, and I can obviously reorganize the different field types, or I can have a 50-52 column, which shows me all my fields like this, or I can have a 70-30 column that shows me all my smaller field types over here and the larger field types over here. You have a lot of control over how things are displayed. Obviously, you have the commenting section. You can have comment streams on each particular record, tag people, etc. Those are typical, more typical Airtable features. The other key feature I forgot to mention is you can link records, right? So over here I have a linked record. The key in SmartSuite is that you can link records across any solution, right? So as we call them in SmartSuite, solutions, and then within each solution you have apps. I can link something from agency marketing to automate your work or to client engagement. You can link any field type, any app across the entire platform to any other app within any other solution. And so if I go into linked records as a field type, you'll see that when I set that up, I have obviously my advanced settings where I can filter through, but I get to choose from anything. As you can see, this dropdown is as long as has as many apps as I have in my system. And there's even system attributes that you can link to, such as users, but you can link things without having to sync a base or do anything like that. You can just simply link from one solution to another solution, which is really, really powerful. You can also set up dashboards and views from within the solution. So we have a dashboard view that's within the app and within the solution. You don't have to change things. People like our calendar view. They say our UI is much nicer. So, but those are kind of, I guess a few key things I figured I'd mention. There's so much more, so many more features, as you can tell. And really the only way is to kind of just get in here and play around. The nice thing is we have this template center. When you download templates, and we have over 200 templates by different categories, when you install a template into your space, it comes with loaded data. And so you don't have to kind of upload sample data and play around. All you got to do is, you can click into a particular solution and see the data that's in it. You can kind of, okay, so now I downloaded personal management, right? And I have over here my solution with my different apps, and there's sample data in here preloaded. I can configure the solution. I can set up different apps, filters, views, etc. See how it applies to the data. And then once I'm done, I can simply come in here, and I'll just demonstrate this for one moment. I can simply come in here into the solution dropdown, and I see that there's data, demo data in the solution. I can delete it, and in one click, all my sample data is wiped out. And now I can easily come in here and import data from Excel, CSV, and so on and so forth very easily once my solution is already built out. So I don't have to play with my real data as I'm setting up the structure of my solution and apps, and I don't have to upload sample data. It comes preloaded, and it's just very easy to wipe it out as soon as you're done. So I hope this was helpful, and looking forward to hearing from you.